On a quiet winter night in Tokyo, on the very last day of the year 2000, the peaceful silence of Setagaya was shattered inside a family home, where 4 lives were brutally taken. More than 2 decades have passed, yet this case remains unsolved, and every detail still chills those who hear it. Today, we will examine one of the most infamous and gruesome cases in Japanese history, the Setagaya family murder case. Let us first travel back to the year 2000. Daily life was very different from today. Computers were not as widespread. Most ran on Windows XP or Windows 2000. Online shopping was almost non-existent. Taobao had just begun and was not widely used. Unlike today, where smartphones are everywhere, personal mobile phones were rare and used mostly for calls. The main ways of getting information were TV and radio. In short, the world of 2000 was very different from the one we live in today. The crime took place in Setagaya Ward, Tokyo, a wealthy residential district located in the southwest of the city. The specific location was in Kamiyoshigaya 3 Chome, a quiet residential area lined with neat houses, where the air often carried the scent of nearby pine trees. Soon after, the area was planned to be redeveloped into Sashigaya Park. By 2000, most families had already moved away. Originally, there had been 200 households in 1990, but only 4 remained. The Miyazawa family was scheduled to relocate in March 2001. Their home was a 2-story white house next to Seiho Park, with a narrow path leading to the entrance. On the right side lived the Miyazawas. On the left, the sisters' family, the Iries. From the outside, the 2 homes appeared connected, but internally they were completely separate. The family consisted of Miyazawa Mikio, 44 years old, a graduate of the University of Tokyo's Faculty of Agriculture, working for a British consulting company, specializing in corporate image strategy. He loved anime and TV dramas, was gentle and somewhat introverted, and devoted to his family. He kept a daily journal, carefully recording both work and personal life. His wife, Yasuko, 41 years old, cheerful and kind, she loved gardening and cooking and was well-liked by her neighbors. Since December 1990, she had been running a cram school. In 1992, when her sister's family moved abroad, she relocated the cram school into their house. Their daughter Nina, 8 years old, 2nd grade in elementary school. Energetic and cheerful, she loved ballet and was learning to play the piano. Their son Ray, 6 years old, shy and quiet, fond of drawing, often accompanied his mother on shopping trips, and was attending kindergarten at the time. On the day before the crime, December 30th, at around 6 p.m., Mikio and Ray went shopping at a nearby supermarket for New Year's dinner ingredients. Around 7 p.m., the family had dinner together, then went about their evening. But around 11 p.m., a shadow slipped into the house, brutally murdering the entire family. The intruder entered from the 2nd-floor bathroom window. Behind the house was the park, quiet and rarely trafficked. Next to the house stood a 90 cm high wire fence and an outdoor water heater. The killer stepped on the heater to reach the window, about 3.3 meters above ground. Though small, 50 centimeters by 40 centimeters, the window was just large enough for someone slim to enter, as police later confirmed. Inside, the killer first strangled 6-year-old Ray as he slept. The noise likely woke Mikio, who rushed upstairs, only to be confronted by the attacker. A violent struggle broke out. The killer used a Yanajiba knife, a long, thin sashimi knife, stabbing Mikio repeatedly, in the head, chest, arms, hip, and legs. Mikio eventually collapsed from massive blood loss, dying on the 1st floor. The Yanajiba knife, sharp but fragile, broke during the fight. The tip snapped about 3 centimeters from the end and became lodged in Mikio's skull. The killer then found Yasuko and Nina hiding in the attic. He grabbed a kitchen knife from the 2nd floor and slaughtered them with horrifying brutality. Both suffered more than 70 wounds, their faces nearly unrecognizable. Nina's teeth were shattered and scattered across the floor. Disturbingly, many of the injuries were inflicted post-mortem, suggesting the killer harbored a pathological obsession with women. Police officers later admitted the crime scene was so gruesome that even veteran detectives were shaken. The killer also stole about 200,000 yen from the cram school's tuition fees. At first glance, it might seem like a robbery homicide, but as the investigation unfolded, bizarre details emerged that defied such a simple explanation. Evidence left behind at the scene. Item 1. A gray knit cap with black stripes. Manufactured between September 1999 to November 2000. Only 3,465 units sold across Japan, priced around 1,900 yen. Item 2. A scarf, green base with red, black, and orange stripes, 130 centimeters long. Manufacturer unknown. Item 3. A waist pouch, strap 83 centimeters, price 2,900 yen. 2,850 units sold. Inside were red fluorescent particles and sand, later matched to sand from California, USA. In 2018, 2 hairs were found inside. One 2.5 centimeters black hair cut by a tool, and one 1.5 millimeters dark brown hair also showing cut marks. Item 4. A black Uniqlo jacket, size large, sold in Tokyo between October, Dec. 2000, around 10,194 units sold. Item 5. A tracksuit jacket, purple sleeves, ivory body. Only 10 sold in Tokyo during August, Dec. 2000. 1 traced, 9 unaccounted for. Item 6. Black gloves, one size fits all, sold 10,755 pairs between 1998 to 2000. Item 7. A Yanajiba knife, brand Sekisui Kanetsugu, blade length 21 centimeters, produced June 2000, 1,500 units. This was the murder weapon. Item 8. 2 black handkerchiefs. One had a slit, likely wrapped around the knife handle. It tested positive for Drakkar Noir, a French men's cologne popular in the 1980s. The other was folded triangularly, possibly used as a face covering. Police noted this knife wrapping method was seen only in certain military units in northern Philippines, prompting an overseas investigation, though with no results. Item 9. Shoe prints, size 27.5 centimeters, brand Slazenger, produced in Korea. This size was only sold in Korea, with a limited run of 400 pairs, never officially sold in Japan. Discovery of the bodies. On December 31st, New Year's Eve, Yasuko's mother was supposed to have lunch with the family. At 10:41 a.m., she called their house, but no one answered. Worried, she went over, rang the doorbell, and found the front door locked. Using her spare key, she entered and was horrified to find 4 bodies amidst pools of blood. She rushed back to tell her son-in-law, who then called the police. The Seiho police station dispatched officers immediately, and upon arrival, they realized this was no ordinary murder. A special investigation unit was quickly formed. At first, with so much physical evidence, police were confident the killer would be caught. Yet 25 years later, the case remains unsolved. What baffled investigators most was that the killer stayed in the house for hours after the murders, possibly up to 11 hours. Despite being injured, he treated his wounds with bandages and even sanitary pads. He raided the fridge, eating 4 ice creams, drinking oolong tea, and eating melon, but notably avoided beer and coffee. He also used the family computer, browsing Mikio's workplace website, his old university lab, Japan's Science and Technology Agency, and even tried to book tickets for the Shiki Theater Company. He created a new folder on the desktop. Police determined the computer was accessed twice, once at 1:18 a.m. and again at 10:05 a.m., just before the discovery. The killer even used the bathroom, leaving unflushed feces behind. He searched drawers, organized IDs and bank books, and dumped items in the second-floor bathroom. He even rested on the living room floor with a pillow. It was as if, after committing mass murder, the house became his playground. Forensics and investigation. Fingerprints. The killer's fingerprints were well-patterned. Police compared thousands of samples, even collecting used train tickets from nearby stations to check for prints. No match was found, even against 2 000 plus records. DNA. In late 2024, Fuji TV revealed new DNA analysis results. The killer's maternal DNA carried the rare H15B haplogroup, found only in a handful of people in Southern Europe, Armenia, and the UAE, none in Japan. The paternal Y chromosome showed M134, common in Chinese, Koreans, and Japanese, but rare in Japan, 3.4%. This suggested the killer's mother was foreign, possibly Mediterranean or Middle Eastern. Despite sending fingerprints and DNA to Korea, authorities claimed there was no match. Whether this was true or political is unknown. By the end of 2024, the investigation had involved 290,000 personnel, and a reward of 20 million yen remained active. Initially, Japan had a 25-year statute of limitations on murder, but this case helped push for its abolition. Over the years, many rumors circulated. Some claimed the murders were linked to the Unification Church, but family members denied it. Others suggested revenge from delinquent skateboarders whom Mikio had argued with. Another theory was Yakuza involvement over redevelopment compensation, but police dismissed this. Most theories remain speculation. Recently, FNN reported that the killer may have been in his 30s, contradicting earlier estimates of a teenage or young adult suspect.
Personal thoughts. Based on the international mix of evidence, Korean shoes, Japanese clothes, American sand, the killer seemed connected to multiple countries. But as one detective put it, objects can deceive, DNA does not. The maternal haplogroup points strongly to Southern Europe or the Middle East, while the paternal 134 links to East Asia. Strikingly, both regions overlap in the UAE, making it plausible the killer was from there. In 2000, the UAE had no fingerprint database. It began in 2005. Unlike Korea, where mandatory fingerprinting and conscription would have exposed him, the UAE offered a loophole. Given his reckless behavior, leaving fingerprints, DNA, and waste, it seems he knew he could leave Japan quickly, possibly as a student or someone connected to diplomatic immunity. Like the Chinese Baiying serial murders solved through relatives' DNA decades later, this case may only be cracked if a relative of the killer is tested in the future. Until then, the Setagaya family murder remains one of Japan's darkest and most mysterious unsolved crimes.